And really, for the last 15 years now, we've seen big changes globally around privacy and data protection laws. If we can see on this map currently, all of these areas, there are very few countries now which do not have privacy or data protection laws. And just to give you an example of just how many of those there are, this is a list of all the global privacy and data protection laws. These are the types of laws as an international or a global organization that you need to take into consideration in order to be able to collect and use data, or process data, as we call it in the EU. It's a lot to do. I mean, I'm not an expert in all of them, and I'm an expert in data protection and privacy laws for some time now. And there are many laws there which even I have no clue about and no understanding about. And these laws are changing all the time. So, for example, when I downloaded this interactive map, Russia didn't have a privacy law set. That's recently changed. There's now a federal data protection law in Russia as a result of, and this is changing as well. There are more Russian laws coming over the coming months around privacy and data protection. China's privacy and data protection law have changed very recently as well. And as you know, we have the GDPR in the EU and the e-privacy regulation, which is going to be coming through the legislative process probably in the next 12 to 18 months, which is going to make it even more difficult to collect and use data on websites and in apps, et cetera, et cetera. So we have all of these global privacy and data protection laws which you need to take into consideration. We need to be able to do that in order to conduct business. There are obvious reasons for that. You could be faced with significant penalties or fines. It could have an impact on your brand, a negative impact on your brand, if there is a situation where you have an enforcement action against you that makes it into the press. So there are several reasons why you might want to consider compliance with these global laws. I don't envy you if you are a global company, because you need a hell of a team of expertise in order to be able to manage this on a global scale. But if you look at a little bit closer to home, in the US, there's been a lot of development over the past 5 years in the US. And as you can see from this map here, there are a number of states which have had laws signed and implemented. We've got Virginia, Colorado, and California currently. There are a number of other states which are in the process of committee on various privacy and data protection laws. And there's talk of a federal privacy and data protection law being pushed through Congress in the near future. So not just at the international level, but also at the state level. I dare say many of you have had to deal with CCPA in California, or CPRA, which is the new version of that. Colorado recently passed a law very similar to CCPA in relation to privacy and data protection. And as we can see, there are many more in the pipeline. Some of these will get through, some of these will die, as is the usual case. But it, again, makes the landscape from a compliance perspective much more complex. When we talk about GDPR, we can see that there have been a lot of enforcements to date under the GDPR. In fact, over 800 enforcements. Don't worry, you're not expected to read all of those. They're there purely to give you an example of just how many enforcements there have been. And the enforcements range from very small amounts of hundreds of euros up to, in some cases, tens of millions, or even in a few cases over 100 million euros in penalties. And these range across a number of different issues, mostly around transparency. That tends to be the most common one. Issues around cybersecurity, not securing the data appropriately, et cetera, et cetera. So again, this is a good indication of the way things are going. So if you think you can ignore privacy and data protection from a compliance perspective, you'd be wise to think again, because this isn't going to go backwards at any point. This is only going to continue to go forwards. We'll continue to see more laws in different countries in this space.